Is it possible to find a quiet spot on a ship with over 8,000 people on it? One that isn't inside your cabin? It is if you're willing to be a little bit flexible. Ahoy travelers, it's Amy here to help you make your travel experience a success with tips on finding that quiet spot on a huge resort ship. On our last cruise, we were on the biggest ship we have yet to sail on, the Carnival Jubilee. With space for up to 6,449 passengers along with 1,735 crew members, that makes for a lot of people on a ship. A lot more than I have ever experienced before, so I wondered how easy it would be to get away from the crowds and find a quiet spot, one that isn't in your cabin, because even if you book a balcony, you may still want to get out and enjoy the ship, and if it's cold or rainy, you're going to need to know where to go anyway. It is much easier to find those quiet spots in the mornings. Not a lot is going on yet, and the night owls are still asleep. It really doesn't start getting busy on a cruise ship until closer to noon. Because of that, it's pretty easy to find a quiet spot as long as you aren't in one of the busiest areas of the ship, like the Lido deck around the pool. You have to get up pretty early in the morning to find any quiet time there. If you are an introvert like me and need that downtime every day to maintain your sanity, I highly suggest venturing out earlier in the mornings to really soak up that quiet alone time. There are a few places where you can find some quiet time later in the day, but you have to get a little bit more creative and flexible to find those. Let's go over some of the places where an introvert can find a quiet spot and the best times to do so. Most, if not all, ships have a central area or atrium. On Carnival's XL class ships, they have the Grand Central, which is a 3-story area that is used for entertainment shows in the evening, but is usually empty the majority of the day. On the Jubilee, one of my favorite places to find a quiet spot in the morning was on the ground level, Deck 6 of Grand Central. Java Blue, the coffee shop, is located next to it, making it the perfect place to relax with your morning coffee. With 3 levels of seating in Grand Central, there are plenty of places to find a spot of your own. While you will definitely find plenty of quiet in the morning, throughout the day you're still going to find people hanging out with a book, board games, their laptop, or just having a quiet conversation. On our cruise, the Grand Central areas were not used for activities during the day, but many times atriums will be. On cruises I've been on in the past, the atrium will often host trivia and games, talks and demonstrations, and more throughout the day. In between those times, you can often find a relatively quiet spot. You may need to pop in your headphones to drown out some noise, but usually nothing too loud. The key is to check your daily schedule if you're wanting to hang out in the atrium when there isn't a sponsored event planned. Another possible place to find some peace and quiet are lounges. While sometimes used for things like games and trivia during the day, you can often find them empty. Most people will see these places, especially if they're closed off rooms, and think that they're off limits. Well, as long as the door isn't locked, there's no reason why you can't go in. I've yet to be told to leave, but of course, if you are, politely do so. Once again, check the schedule to see if there's an event planned so that you don't head all the way down to a lounge and find that it's in use. Like the lounges, the bars on the ship can be a great place for some alone time. Crazy, right? Well, many, if not most bars, are open areas with seating around them. And since many of these same bars aren't open until later in the day, sometimes even into the evening, these seating areas offer yet another place to relax away from the crowds. I would often use these areas to read or just people watch. Some bars are even closed off and offer a greater chance at some quiet. The Golden Mermaid bar on the Jubilee was closed off and had tons of comfy chairs. You will again want to check the schedule because they would sometimes schedule trivia in there. What if you're wanting to spend your time relaxing outdoors? Well, I have some great options for you, but first, if you're enjoying this video and maybe even learned something, consider subscribing with a notification bell on so you don't miss any future posts. We have weekly Cruise News Roundups for you on Saturdays, where I give my thoughts on some of the biggest stories of the week. And Tuesdays, you will find a variety of videos from tips to cruise ships reviews. If you enjoy spending time outside, the promenade deck can be a great place to check out. Most people who want to be outside will gravitate towards those upper decks like the Lido, but the promenade offers plenty of seating and you can usually find both shade and sun. There may be lounge chairs scattered around that offer a quieter option than those that are around the pool deck. And if you aren't planning to actually get into the pool, you can still grab some sun, but with a little more privacy, or at least without all the high energy activities that you often find around the main Lido pool. Outdoor seating areas for restaurants can be another spot to check out. Some of the specialty restaurants are really good for this, as they are often only used during specific times of the day. Make sure you won't cause any issues with setting up service and avoid sitting at tables that are already set up for service. I like to walk the promenade deck on day one and look for any hidden spots that people might not think about using. The adults-only open deck areas of the ship can make for a great place for some quiet. I mentioned in my best and worst of the Jubilee video that close to its bar and pool area, the Serenity area could get a little bit loud in the afternoon, but outside of that, you're going to find that most people are spending their time in the Serenity area relaxing, reading, even taking a nap. Talk about your quiet spots. They even pump in soft, relaxing music. Now, the Serenity area is my mom's favorite spot on Carnival ships. On the Jubilee, the Serenity area was significantly bigger than other Carnival ships we've been on. So even though there were a lot of people on the ship, there still seemed to be plenty of space available. This was the case for most places and venues around the ship. Despite so many people, it rarely felt crowded, at least not any more than any other ship I've been on. Planning and flexibility is key to this. Get out and about early for the best chance at a prime location. Throughout the day, if you're looking for an out-of-the-way spot, check the daily schedule and look for areas that are not being used for a cruise-sponsored activity. Just be sure to stay away from high traffic and popular areas, especially later in the day. If you have ever wondered if an introvert can enjoy a cruise line like Carnival, you're going to want to stick around and check out this video and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.